St. Petersburg turns into hell under a brutal invasion of Ukrainian drones, and Russia wakes up this Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026, with smoke over one of its most important showcases. Ukraine launched a long-distance operation against energy and military infrastructure targets in Vladimir Putin's city. Exactly when Moscow was trying to open the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum to sell the world the image of strength, control, and economic resilience. The drones crossed more than 1,000 kilometers to reach the oil terminal area and defense-related points near Kronstadt, a strategic naval base in the Gulf of Finland. While officials, businessmen, and foreign delegations were arriving for the big Russian event, explosions, fire, airport disruptions, and a security alert brought the war into the setting that the Kremlin wanted to use as propaganda. What did Ukraine want to show? Why strike St. Petersburg right on the day of the forum? How will Moscow protect its showcase after this attack? I'll tell you all about that in a moment. If you like this kind of straightforward, no-nonsense content, consider subscribing because we have videos like this every day. The offensive happened at dawn, before the city got into the official rhythm of the economic event. According to Volodymyr Zelensky, Ukrainian drones hit the St. Petersburg oil terminal and military facilities related to the Kronstadt region. The distance is impressive because the operation did not take place near the front line. It reached the Russian northwest, far from Ukraine, in a region that Moscow has always treated as a rear area, command center, and symbol of prestige. That's where the attack gained significance. Ukraine brought the war to Putin's political doorstep on the day Russia wanted to show that it was still functioning, despite sanctions, Western isolation, and years of open conflict. Russian authorities confirmed drone attacks in several locations in St. Petersburg and the Leningrad region. Governor Alexander Beglov reported damage to infrastructure areas and injuries, with no deaths recorded. The Russian narrative tried to portray it as just another attack stopped by air defenses, but images that circulated showed heavy smoke over the port area. Open-source analysts pointed out explosions near the area where the oil terminal is located. Even without Moscow officially admitting the full impact on the terminal, the public signal was strong. Russia's second-largest city, Putin's political birthplace, and the site of one of the Kremlin's biggest economic events, was hit right in the middle of an international exhibition week. The energy target helps explain the reason for the operation. Ukraine has been treating refineries, depots, terminals, and military facilities as part of the machine that sustains the Russian war effort. Hitting this type of structure reduces Moscow's fuel, logistics, revenue, and operational capacity. The St. Petersburg oil terminal is significant because it is connected to the export flow and movement of oil products in northwest Russia. It was not a random target. It was a sensitive point in an economy that tries to keep energy sales as its main pillar. The Kronstadt region increases the impact of the attack. The city is located in an important naval area connected to the protection of St. Petersburg and access through the Gulf of Finland. According to reports released by international media, the offensive also targeted military structures and a naval facility, with mentions of a ship under maintenance. Even though the extent of the damage still depends on independent verification, the message is clear. Ukraine wants to show that it can reach not only energy depots, but also defense structures in one of the most symbolic areas of European Russia. The timing was the most uncomfortable detail for Moscow. The St. Petersburg International Economic Forum takes place from June 3rd to 6th and serves as a Kremlin showcase for business people, officials, and foreign delegations. Russia tries to use this meeting to prove that it is not alone, that it still has partners, and that its economy remains open to deals outside the Western Bloc. But the opening was accompanied by smoke at the port, interruptions at Pulkovo airport, and a security alert. The image that Moscow wanted to control was shattered in the very first hours. Putin is expected to speak at the event in the coming days, and the Kremlin will have to turn the attack into a resistance narrative. Moscow is likely to say that Russia was provoked, that the air defense worked, and that the economy will remain standing. But the problem for Putin is that the attack happened in the wrong place, at the wrong time, and in front of the wrong audience. It was St. Petersburg, a city directly connected to the political biography of the Russian president, being hit while the government was receiving guests and trying to sell stability. The offensive also showed progress in the logic of long-distance warfare. The front line remains tough, but Ukraine has started using drones to create costs inside Russia. This forces Moscow to spread out its air defenses, protect major cities, cover economic infrastructure, and still maintain military pressure on Ukraine. Each drone that reaches a distant area forces the Kremlin to explain how a war it claimed to control can cross more than 1,000 kilometers and appear over a strategic city. The dispute now is not just over territory, it's also about the perception of strength. The attack puts pressure on Russian internal security because St. Petersburg cannot be treated as a secondary area. If drones reach the region during an international event, other nearby structures also start to be seen as vulnerable. Ports, airports, bases, industries, and energy routes will have to operate under higher alert. This increases the cost of the war. Ukraine is trying exactly that, to force Moscow to spend more to defend what previously seemed far from the front. I'm Milson Alves, global and international affairs specialist, and my purpose is to keep you accurately informed every day. The news links are in the video description. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and at the end, check out the comments so you can be even more engaged with the Milson Alves community.